Leading our bulletin this hour, Nandipha father and a former G4S employee will appear in court this morning. They will be charged with aiding and abetting a fugitive. It all relates to the movie-like escape of Facebook rapist and murderer Thabo Bester. The two suspects were arrested yesterday. ENC's senior reporter Slindelo Masikana joins us now with the very latest. She's joining us from Bloemfontein. Good morning, Slindelo. So you are already in court, but indeed it hasn't started. Just talk to us about what we know about what we're expecting to take place today in court.
Well, of course, we are expecting the first appearance of two people that have been arrested over the weekend in connection with the escape of Thabo Bester back on the 3rd of May 2022. The police seem to believe or are in possession of evidence that they believe implicates these two people in the escape plan. One of them is Dr. Nandipha father, as well as a former G4S employee from the Mangaung Correctional Center. Now, we know that since news broke of the escape, the Correctional Center in particular has been taken over by Correctional Services. We know that tomorrow, in fact, we are expecting a parliamentary sitting of the Justice and Correctional Services Department, Portfolio Committee rather, where we're going to see G4S having to come in account after being summoned by Parliament. So over the past week, we've seen a number of developments in Fundo with regards to this case where, there have been some breakthroughs, in particular the rearrest of Bester in Tanzania, as well as the arrest of Dr. Nandipha and a Mozambican accomplice as well over this weekend. So it's a first appearance. We're not expecting long proceedings, but it does seem as though they've been implicated in the escape. They seem to have had an involvement, and police believe that they have a case to answer to. We had an opportunity to speak to the spokesperson of the police, that is Athenda Mate, and she was telling us as well that actually, more arrests are not going to be ruled out in this case, and that over the next couple of days, police are going to continue with their investigations while a delegation in Tanzania tries to bring Bester as well as Dr. Nandipha back into the country. I think we do have that particular clip. Let's take a listen.
We believe that these two suspects, both the G4S, the former G4S employee and the man believed to be Dr. Nandipha Magudumana's father, are the masterminds in aiding and abetting this convicted prisoner to escape from lawful custody. So we do believe that these two suspects that have been arrested over the weekend by our investigating team do have a case to answer. To the 65-year-old man who is in police custody, who was arrested on Friday by our team in the Eastern Cape, is Dr. Nandipha's father.
It will certainly be interesting to find out the extent of even Nandipha's father's involvement in this whole escape. But I understand you spoke to Dr. Nandipha's brother. What did he have to say about all of this?
In essence, what I was getting from the conversation we had with him was him trying to tell the public that he knew nothing of the escape, that in fact as soon as he found out that Dr. Nandipha, his sister, was in a relationship with Bester, he tried to alert the police. He says that his cries fell on deaf ears. He says he had written to the Hawks, he had written to the police. He's the one who gave information to Ground Up for them to begin their investigations into their expose about the escape plan. And he says that, he really does find it quite strange. He was shocked to find out that his sister was involved with someone like that, and that his sister could expose her children to someone like that. We know that, of course, Dr. Nandipha had taken her brother to court for extortion, and he admits that, he did at one time get quite inebriated and sent a text demanding money, but he said that by that point, he was just completely frustrated and emotional with the situation. We also spoke to him with regards to his father's appearance in court and what he knows about it. Let's take a listen to what he had to say. I do understand, of course, that there are a few family members here from the Sekeleni family who are here to support Dr. Nandipha's father. Let's just take a listen. Let's talk about your father. Are you aware that he's been arrested?
My father, when did I become aware that he was arrested? On the news. Yeah, I'm aware that he's been arrested.
Have you spoken to him?
I don't know what the charges are, though.
Are you concerned about your father? Are you concerned about where he is? Do you know where he is?
Of course I'm concerned. He's my father and he's diabetic along with my mother. And I want to know what the charges are. And then if he is implicated in anything, we have to leave it to the law to play its own course. You know what I'm saying? Mm. Yeah, and we are also at ease when we found out that he's with proper police people.
Now, Stindelo, beyond what's happening in court, we know there are other developments outside, particularly one such Dr. Pashi, a former associate of Dr. Nandipha, who now claims that her documents had been stolen. Just talk to us about those developments.
We are seeing some developments with regards to those who are associated with Dr. Nandipha in terms of their perhaps possible involvement or implication. It does seem law enforcement is looking at her entire network essentially to see who may have played a role, whether they knew they were or they weren't. And we've been seeing a couple of rumors circulating on social media with regards to the disappearance, or should I say Dr. Pashi's passport. She says it was stolen or got lost, and we understand that there are reports around Dr. Nandipha using Dr. Pashi's identity possibly to leave the country. I do want to move out of shot, but I think at this point we're just seeing a number of those who are going to be in court this morning. The visuals might be a bit shaky. I'm just going to ask Nuko to get his camera off the tripod. We're seeing some movement inside court, but it does just seem as though that court proceedings will, of course, start any moment from now. I'm going to take us to a bite from Police Minister Begicele, who then is just going to elaborate a little bit more around the delegation in Tanzania, because despite this court appearance happening here today, we do know, of course, that there's a delegation in Tanzania that is trying to bring back Dr. Nandipha as well as Bester into the country. So the gallery inside court is going to start filling up. We're going to see the prosecutor obviously present the case, and once court proceedings begin, of course, we will be bringing you those visuals live. But it does seem that police investigations into anyone who may have played a role, the network in which Nandipha as well as Bester use, certainly is going to be investigated throughout this period where we are, of course, trying to get those two back into the country. Usually with first appearances, Fundo, they aren't too long. We'll just see the prosecutor presenting the docket, the charges. The accused will then be asked if they have legal representation. If they don't, then perhaps they will tell the court whether they want to postpone for new legal to acquire legal representation, or perhaps to get legal aid. But maybe let's just take a listen then to Police Minister Begicele with regards to the deportation processes we understand that are going to unfold this week with regards to Bester and Dr. Nandipha.
At about 8 last night, I spoke to the team that has landed already they landed at Kilimanjaro, and then they were in Arusha. They will be taking matters forward. Maybe one can talk more about those matters that are there for, but it does look like up to that time that one has spoken, things are going well. them coming back does not really depend on the team. It also depends on the legal processes of the other side. The team is from South African Police, is NPA, that is their Home Affairs and Correctional Service. That's how team is made. With the team we trust is a team led by the Deputy National Commissioner of the South African Police. It's a high-level team. We hope they'll do us best and then they'll do us best to bring Bester back.
Any indication, because this is a pressing matter, if I were to push you, when do you anticipate that to happen? I know you say it depends on the legal processes from the Tanzanian side.
Well, we don't know, but we expect the team to be back today or tomorrow. What they would have negotiated, we'll be getting the report going forward. But we hope they'll go the best and they'll do the best.
Upon arrival, what happens to the two?
Well, the matter mostly will be the justice matter, really. Ours is to arrest those people. I think first thing that we'll have to do is to hand them over. One, I think, needs to go to the correctional service, belong to the correctional service, and one will have to follow the legal processes and all, and that both falls under Ministry of Justice.